Corporate social responsibility is the aspect of a business that concerns the welfare of society, the well-being of the people in the area that you conduct business, of your customers, of all of the stakeholders in your business. And it is based upon a commitment to integrity, fairness, and respect to and for all parties involved with your business. There's been debate about how socially responsible a company needs to be. Some people will argue that the role of a manager at a company is to look out for the best financial interest of the owners of that company. That owner should be looking to maximize profits at all times because that is what these owners are paying them to do. That's their job function. Proponents of this stance state that businesses can't exist without customers. They can't exist without employees. And by being socially responsible, you're bettering the society in which you operate. And your policy of social responsibility will make the world around you better. And that will in turn lead you to doing better business. I perfectly believe that these things aren't mutually exclusive. You can be a very profitable and socially responsible company at the same time. So your aim should be to look out for both of those things. You can't be a manager and saying, look, we're going to have to take a huge loss this period because we need to be as responsible to society as we possibly can. There is a limit. You can't overextend yourself. But at the same time, there are ways that you can assure the profitability of your company and better society at the same time. And you should be looking out how you can make that happen. Because if you are known to be a socially responsible company, that is great promotion. And it helps draw in new customers. And it helps customers that you already have remain loyal to your company. And that is a big, big draw for potential employees. They want to work. I mean, some people, that's part of their ethics. They want to work for a company that is known to be very socially responsible. So if you have exhibited that, and that is a well-known fact in the world, that you are a company that's not just looking out for profitability, but you're also doing a lot of great things for society, that will help draw in the tip-top, the best employees you possibly can. There are different dimensions to social responsibility, to your social performance. There is philanthropy, which is making donations to existing local charities that support a cause that your company wants to support. A social initiative is kind of a form of philanthropy, but instead of just handing out money, you're handing out your expertise. You are using the services you provide, the products that you make, and putting them in the hands of the people that need them in order to better society as a whole. What else is a responsible thing that you can have as a corporation? Make sure that you are having fair hiring practices to bring in employees no matter how they look or who they are. You're bringing in the best of the best based purely on their qualifications and not some other aspect that would prevent them from being hired. And you're being responsible to your customers by making sure that your products are of the quality that A, they're paying for, but B, it is not going to harm them. And then your corporation should have a policy. It is the firm stance that you take on certain issues. It doesn't need to be every political issue, but if there is a big issue that is spreading across, society at a time, your corporation should weigh in on this. Again, it doesn't have to be a line in the sand on every little thing, but if there is a movement going on, people that are part of that movement are going to look to corporations which support their movement. Washington Commanders now, they just changed their name, were formerly known as the Washington Redskins, and people for years and years and years said that is a racist name and you need to change your name, and the Washington football team really did not want to do so. It was only when their sponsors took the stance and said we cannot have teams named after a group of people, especially if they're using a name that is a derogatory term towards a group of people. So every one of those sponsors. It was Pepsi, and it was Electronic Arts, and there was a ton of different companies that were involved, took the stance and said, listen, we cannot allow this anymore. We're not going to do business with a party that doesn't support our system of beliefs, our ethics, and it would be socially irresponsible of us to do so, because by continuing to use that brand, you are harming a portion of society. Money makes the world go round. I don't mean to sound cold in these lectures, but it is a fact. You can't make money without having money. And the same is true for not-for-profit organizations. I have kept books for one for years and years and years. You're always looking for funding so you can continue to support your initiative. And the nice thing about it is the U.S. government has put a bunch of stuff in the tax code that makes this not only encourages people to do so, but gives them a tax break if they do donate. And you will see a ton of very rich people make huge donations, because they want to, because they're socially responsible. They want to see the world improve and be better, and also because that money's going to go to taxes anyway, they might as well put it in the hands directly of people that they know are going to help promote the social responsibility and the social justice that they want to see. In here we have the list of the world's biggest givers in 2019, and I'm really only want to point out the top two, which is Warren Buffett, who is a huge investor and the head of Berkshire Hathaway, and Bill and Melinda Gates, who are the founders and chief operators of Microsoft. Both made contributions to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The Gates Foundation, Warren Buffett gave about $3.5 billion. Bill and Melinda Gates gave about $2.6 billion. What does the Gates Foundation do? It fights social injustice and social inequity around the world. It puts computers, it puts resources in the hands, and it's not just computers, a ton of different resources, in the hands of people that need them in order to have it so when they go through life, when their kids are growing up, etc., they're playing on a level playing field. The Gates Foundation is now the second largest charitable organization in the world. They have net assets in excess of $50 billion, which is an insane amount of money. But the cause that they have is, a good one. And tons of very wealthy people and tons of businesses support their cause. So they are acting socially responsible by engaging in a little philanthropy, by donating to this foundation. If you're wondering what the biggest one is, it's a charity out of Denmark that is in charge, that they're tasked with their mission is to come up with alternate medical treatments and advanced medical science to fight diseases that we don't have a cure for, and to provide medical care that is very expensive for people that can otherwise not afford it. What reason would companies have to do this besides the goodness of their heart, which is the biggest one? It also definitely helps in promotion, especially in today's day and age. People don't just go and buy something because they see it on the shelf. They're fully aware of all of the things that go on within a company, any headline that they make. We have 24-hour news, we have social media. Like, things are not getting by people before. That news is going to get around, and negative news impacts a customer's view of your company. So if you are acting socially irresponsible, it's going to get out into the public, and it's going to put off a whole bunch of your existing customers, and it's going to discourage new customers from partaking in your business. It is going to hurt your bottom line. Another good policy to have too is to encourage your employees in one way or another to volunteer and help with other social agencies. You can do this in a ton of different ways. Obviously, it would be part of your code of ethics. You could have that in there. You can offer some kind of rewards for this. There are awards at pretty much every college for the charitable contribution that faculty and staff make during the period, and it's nice to be recognized. So it encourages people to, and your employees, to partake in their own socially responsible endeavors. What are some other corporate socially responsible efforts that have been going on? I'm not going to go through the whole entire list, but I will hit some greater points that we have in here. Starbucks, South America, in the 2010s got devastated, their coffee growing industry, by what they call coffee leaf rust. And that is not a super well-to-do area of the world. Like, it's not, I'm not going to say it's, third world or anything like that, but there's not the resources in place that a company like Starbucks operating out of the US has. And Starbucks had already assessed this problem, may have happened to them at some point in the future, and they went through and they developed their own rust-resistant coffee plants. And when this famine went through South America and destroyed billions upon billions of dollars of coffee crops, they donated a whole bunch of these plants. They just gave away rust-resistant coffee plants to all of these farmers and workers in order to make sure this doesn't happen again. So, I mean, yes, some of them might be suppliers in the future, but they did the very socially responsible thing. Some of those beans might be going to Dunkin', and it won't be good for their business, but they looked past that and said, we got to make the world a better place as a whole. We have Pepsi, Panera, McDonald's, Nestle at the bottom. How are they socially responsible? Fast food is bad for you. I think we all know this at this point in time. It's high in fat. It is high in calories. It's high in pretty much everything that you don't want to put into your body. So all of these companies came up with healthier, if you will, alternatives. Back when I was a very young kid in the 1980s, there was Pepsi and there was Diet Pepsi, and that was all that existed. When you went to McDonald's, there were not salads. There were not other alternatives on there. You got a Big Mac or a double quarter pounder, and that was about the variety of your options. And that was the way the society worked at the time. And we have a problem with obesity. People putting down a bunch of sugary drinks, and these companies said, all right, listen, like, our products are delicious. Don't get me wrong. I will gladly eat a Big Mac and drink a Pepsi. But we need to have other alternatives. And there are people that are busy. There's, a single mother working 2 jobs with kids at home who does not have time to cook, and she wants to bring fast food home to the family. And it's not great that that person's only option is to grab a bunch of burgers from McDonald's that are not healthy for the kids and have them wash it down with a super sugary Pepsi. So they went through and were socially responsible and changed their menu to adapt to the times. Last one I will talk about on here on the bottom is Intel. Intel has donated so much technology in terms of computers, printers, monitors, what have you, to school districts that were underfunded in the last 20 years. Like, they have literally handed out billions of dollars of free computers and free programs to K through 12 teachers to help them integrate technology into their classroom, because firstly, that's socially responsible. We all need to have an equitable start. We all need to start from the same position. It's a disadvantage for a student to go to elementary school in a place where they don't have access to this technology versus someone else that has all of that from day one when they start school. And secondly, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math is the absolute way of the future. A lot of industries are leaning into this, even if it isn't their natural habitat, if you will. If that is not in place for young people when they're learning all sorts of stuff that's going to help them throughout their lives, you're doing them a disservice, because it's going to decrease their employment opportunities in the future. It wasn't great for Intel's bottom line. They probably could have turned around and sold that stuff instead of giving it away, but it was a socially responsible thing to do. Lastly, and this is going to sound like you're only doing it because of this reason, but it's not, but it is a fact of life, that the public is going to have an opinion of your company. You are constantly marketing. You are constantly selling on your brand. And if you have a whole lot of really good corporate social responsibility initiatives, you should make the public aware of that. And social media is a great place to do that. Try to get your customers to donate themselves to the charities that you work with. It's a way to promote your own corporate social responsibility, and also increase the funding for that charity. Using social media will allow you to reach people that you never could. We're all online. It's not like McDonald's talks to each and every customer about their social responsibility when they come in, but with one tweet, one Facebook post, I don't know if McDonald's does TikTok, but one social media, event that you're putting out there, a whole broad, diverse group of people will know about your corporate social responsibility platform. And if you're going to put that out there, that this is your initiative, this is what you're working on, you better make every effort to follow through. Because if you say, oh yeah, we're going to give millions and millions of dollars to this charity to help better society, and then you don't for one reason or another, boy, does that look bad on your company. So if you are going to use your corporate social responsibility platform as a promotional tool, make sure that you live up to your expectations.